In this video lecture, we'll be learning the second map, which is this map is of a fold. So let us start with it. Let us start with the basics. So we have these dotted lines, which are your contour lines. The ones which are hatched, these are your basically bedding planes, and the lines which are your solid lines are your bedding junctions. So let us first see the question. The question is that the adjacent figure shows a hypothetical geological map in which 4 sedimentary rocks A to D are there. The map scale is 1:10,000 and the contour interval is 100 meters. It is required to find the strike, true dip and to draw cross section along XY. Right? So you can see that the scale here is 1:10,000 and this XY is the line along which you need to draw the cross section of this map. And as I already told you, this is a map of a fold. So the first step is same as the previous, what we have done in the previous map. That is, we need to mark the contour points and we need to draw a strike line through them. So here the points which we need to mark are basically, if there is a contour line which is cutting a same bedding junction twice, then that point has to be marked. So you can see that the 600 is cutting your AB 2 times, here and here. We need to draw a strike line through that. So this is one strike line. Okay, and now what I will do is that I will also mark those points which are lying on the strike line and which are there on the bedding junction as well as being cut by a contour line. So basically I will be marking the intersection of a contour line, a bedding junction and a strike line. Okay, such points also I will be marking. So obviously these 2 points are very much evident that they have to lie on the strike line, because this 400 is cutting this junction BC twice, and this point here, this 600 is cutting your junction AB one time here, and again here we have one point where your 400 contour is cutting your CB one time, and I have given color codes to them. You can see that these 400 contour is being shown in green, 600 is shown in red. Let us move to the next one, where this 500, you can see it is cutting your junction BC at this point and this point. So we can draw a strike line through them, and as you know, the nature of the strike line, they are parallel to each other. On this strike line, which other points are there? So this 700 is there at this point and this point here. Okay, 500 and this 400 and here 400. So all these points will mark. All are having their own color coding. So 500 is shown in yellow, 400 in green and 700 in blue. Next is this 600 cutting this BC at this point and this point. We can draw a strike line, and again this confirms one more nature of the strike lines, that they are equidistant, parallel as well as equidistant to each other, right? So which other point is there on the strike line? This 500 is there here and here. Okay, next we need to draw this 600 is cutting this junction CB at this point, here and here. So we'll draw a line through it. This is one strike line. Now I have shown this strike line in red color. I'll be telling you later on why. You can already guess that this strike line is something different. It's not equal in distance with this. Okay, which other points are there on the strike line? So this 600 which is there, it is at this point, 600 contour on junction CB. Then we have this 500 on junction CD here and here, and 800 on junction AB. Okay, so again according to our color code we will mark them. The next strike line, you can see that this 500 is cutting this junction CB at this point and this point. We can draw a strike line through it. Now this strike line, although it is parallel to the previous one, but you can see that the distance is not same as the previous strike line distances. Now what is the reason? Let us say that I want to plot a graph. Whenever there are strike lines which are parallel but the spacing is changing, it always means that the dipping angle is different. So the dipping angle on this side is different and the dipping angle on this side is different. I'll just show it to you. So let us say I'm plotting a graph, and this is a graph of height versus the strike lines that I'll be plotting. So 300, I'm starting with a contour of 300. Then let us say we have 400. Then this is 500, and finally 600. Okay, now you take any one of the bedding junction and you plot that bedding junction. So for example, I am taking this bedding junction BC, and I can see that for this bedding junction BC, this is the strike line which is having a 600 height. So along that strike line, I plot this point 600. Then this strike line for this BC, it is having 500 value. So I plot this 500 here, and this strike line for BC, it is having a value of 400. So I plot 400 here. If I join these, I'll be getting the boundary or the junction BC. Okay, similarly on the other side, what I'll do is, for this BC only I'll plot, again obviously for BC only we have to plot. So 600 is there for this strike line. Here is the value. Then this 500 is there for the strike line. This is the value. So you can see that the trend of this side is actually much steeper, or the dip is the slope of this line what we have is definitely not equal to the slope of this line. This line is much steeper as compared to the previous one, and for steeper lines the strike lines are more closer to each other. For a flatter line, the strike lines are away from each other at a much larger distance from each other. Okay, so whenever we have two sets of strike lines having different spacing, it means that there are two different dips in the map. Okay, so now we have on the same strike line, let us plot other points as well. So we have this 400 which is there at these 2 points, and we have 700 here, and we have 700 here as well. Then the next strike line would be, you can see that the 600 is cutting this AB junction at this point and this point. So we can pass a strike line, and now you can see that these strike lines are actually equidistant to each other. It means that the dip across that side is same. Next, what we'll be doing is we'll start naming our strike lines. So we'll be naming it alphabetically. First we have AB 600. Okay, AB 600 is there because the bedding junction is AB and the contour line is 600 which is cutting. And you can see even from the color coding, you will understand that there has to be two names for that particular strike line. For example, for this strike line, I have a red color mark and a green color mark. So this strike line will be having two names. The second name would be BC 400. Moving to the next strike line, you can see we have yellow, this green and this blue. So there are three names for this strike line. If we move alphabetically, we have AB 700, BC 500 and CD 400. Moving to the next strike line, we have again two names for this because there is red and yellow in this only. AB is not there. We'll start from BC. BC 600 is there and CD 500 is there, right? Moving to the next strike line, we have three different names, red, yellow and this blue is there. So AB 800 is there, BC 600 is there and CD 500 is there. Next strike line we have AB 700, BC 600 and BC 500 and CD 400. The next strike line will be having AB 600 only. Okay, so the naming of the strike lines is done. Step 2 is determination of missing strike lines, but we have already covered this step in this one only, because in the previous numerical, in the previous map when we were doing the first map, since you did not know the concept, I had split it into two different steps. But here if you see, we also marked those points which were not evidently striking the same junction twice. So we also marked such points and we drew strike lines and we named as well those points. So we have already drawn the missing strike lines as well as named them. Okay, then we can directly move to the next step, where the next step is to check the direction of true dip. So for this, what we need to do is we need to find, or we need to take any one of the bedding junction and we need to see that along which direction its dip is decreasing. So if we see, and as I have told you previously also, that when we have two sets of strike lines having different spacing, it means that we are going to have two different dips. So that you have to keep in your mind that we will be having two different dips here. The first dip would be, if I take this BC junction, then we have 600 here, 500 here and 400 here. So it is decreasing along this direction. Hence first dip is along this direction, as you can see, it is already marked. The second, again if that BC junction is taken, we have 600 here, 500 here. So again it is decreasing in this direction. Hence the second dip is along this direction. Okay, this is only the direction of the dip, and please remember that the direction of the true dip has to be perpendicular to your strike lines. Now we need to determine the amount of true dip and the direction of the strike line. So the direction of the strike line is very easy. You just have to take your roller scale and you need to mark a parallel line across this north. Okay, and then you can take the angle, whatever angle it is making. So that angle can be expressed in terms of WCB or even in quadrantal bearings, in any way you want. Okay, after your strike line, determination of the strike line direction, we can go and find the amount of true dip, and for this you will have to measure the horizontal distance between the strike lines. So now again remember, there are two dips. Okay, dip 1 is there. Okay, dip 1 is there and dip 2 is there. For dip 1 you will have to measure whatever distance is there between these strike lines. For dip 2 also you will have to measure the distance separately, okay, in centimeter. And then we'll have to use this formula which I had shown in the which I had briefly discussed this formula in my previous map video. So how this formula has come into picture and how we have to use this formula. So using this you will have to determine two dips. Okay, dip 1 and dip 2. Two different dips have to be determined. Step 5, this is the step where we actually start drawing the cross section. So in this, what we'll do is that we take a strip of a paper and we put it across that XY line, and first we'll be marking the X and Y. Okay, X and Y has to be always marked first. This will be the boundary inside which we need to draw our map. After that, you need to mark the strike lines, and you'll have to name exactly what those strike lines are named. After that, we mark the bedding junctions. So we have here junction AB, junction BC, junction CD, junction CD here, junction BC, and junction AB. Then we mark the contour lines. So we have 400 here. This 500, if you see, it is actually coinciding with this point. So as it is, we'll be drawing BC 500. So that would be same as that contour 500. And which other contour is there? Here we have 400, and we have this 500, and this 600, if you can see, then again it is coinciding with your AB junction. So when you plot your AB junction, it will be same as your 600 contour. So you don't have to actually draw it again, or you don't have to show that 600 contour on the strip. It will unnecessarily make it complicated. That's it. Now let us plot. So first you have to draw these vertical scales, and the scale that we choose for the vertical is equal to your contour interval, which is 100 meters. Since in the map it is given that the contour interval is 100 meters, the scale also you choose as 100 meters only. Then the vertical lines need to be drawn in this map. Those vertical lines are drawn from your strike lines. So these are the lines drawn from the strike line, and then we can start plotting. So let us plot this AB 600 first. So AB 600 will be along this strike line. We plot at 600. Then we have AB 700. Then we have AB 800. If I join them, I'll get this junction AB. Then we have BC 500 at this 500 line and along this strike line. Then BC 600, we'll join them. We get our junction BC. Now all these red lines that I'm showing here, this is for dip 2, okay. Similarly, we'll be having AB junction and BC junction for dip 1 also, as you can already see here. Then we plot CD 400, CD 500, we draw a line. That will be our junction CD. Similarly, now we'll have to draw for dip 1. So AB 600 I plot, AB 700 I plot, I draw a line, that will be your junction AB. Then BC 400, BC 500, okay, and BC 600 would be here. If we join them, we'll get our junction BC. Then CD 400 and CD 500. This is your junction CD for dip 1. So all the lines shown in blue are for dip 1, the ones shown in red are for dip 2. After this step, we need to plot these junction lines, this bedding junction lines AB, BC, CD. So plotting our bedding junctions on these lines. So this AB will go till this line AB and stop there. BC will go till line BC and stop there. CD on this junction CD, similarly here on this side, CD on this junction, BC here and AB here. Okay. After this, we need to plot our contour lines. So 400, which is there, it has to go till 400 and stop. Okay. Then the next contour is again 400 on this side. It has to go on the 400 and stop. Then we have 500. It will go on 500 and stop. And if you remember, we also had a 600 contour, which was actually coinciding with your AB junction. If we had plotted that, that would go on 600 and stop. So again, it would have, coincided with this point, right? Let me just color it in a different color here, like this. Now the only points that you need to join are your yellow points and this cyan color point. Only these points you will join and no other points you will be joining. Okay, and you need to just join it with a free hand. So this is basically the surface of your terrain, and after this anything which is above the surface, that has to be removed. Okay, so basically this how to actually identify your bedding planes is that we have this B and B, this will become B bedding plane, C and C will become a C bedding plane, D and D, this is your D bedding plane, C, B, A, like this. Okay, so A, B, C, D, C, B, A. Alright, so these are your bedding planes here. Now in the beginning of the map I told you that this is a map of a fold. So where is the fold in this? We can't see a fold. That is the reason. The reason is that you will have to extend these lines, and now you can see it's a fold, right? So basically these dotted lines which are there, those were there before, but due to erosion they got erased, or basically they are not there now. So this is your cross section for a map with a fold, right? So that's it for this lecture. Till then, take care. Thank you.